You ever go camping alone, just to get away from everything? Yeah. I thought it'd be peaceful too. Last summer I hiked out to a remote part of the Appalachians. No cell service, no people, just me, the woods, and a tent. I set up camp near this little creek and spent the day hiking and sketching. By nightfall, I was back at the campsite, cooking dinner over a small fire. Stars were out. It was quiet. Too quiet. I zipped myself into my tent around 10 p.m., headlamp off, just laying there listening to the wind rustle through the trees. But around 2 in the morning, I woke up to whispering. At first I thought I was dreaming, but then I heard it again, clear as day. A voice right outside my tent, low, raspy, like someone trying not to wake me. I held my breath. Then, another voice, closer. 2 people, whispering, walking in circles around my tent. I didn't move. I didn't make a sound. And then, the zipper moved. Not fast, slow, like someone trying to open the tent without waking me up. I grabbed my knife. My heart was pounding so loud I thought they could hear it. But the zipper stopped halfway. Then I heard footsteps, running. No screaming, no talking, just running into the woods. I waited until sunrise to come out. There were footprints all around my tent. No trail in, no trail out, just circles. I packed my stuff and got the hell out of there. I still don't know what they wanted or how they found me out there. But I haven't camped alone since. I used to work seasonal trail maintenance in a national park in the southwest. One section of trail went through a high desert plateau, rarely visited, very isolated. One night I was camping solo after doing an equipment drop. Right after sundown, I started hearing something wrong. It started like a distant coyote call, but it kept getting louder and longer. It turned into this guttural, choking howl, like something in pain, but also furious. It echoed across the rocks, bouncing in weird directions. Every hair on my body stood up. I radioed HQ. No response. Then it started circling me. I couldn't see it, just the sound moving through the trees and sagebrush, always just out of sight. Sometimes it would stop suddenly, and I'd hear breathing close. I didn't sleep, just sat in my tent, knife drawn, bear spray in hand. Around 4 a.m., it let out one last shriek, then went silent. At dawn, I packed up and took the long route out. I reported the incident to the rangers. They just said, "You heard the howler." Apparently, multiple solo campers had reported the same thing, always in that area, always at night. No one ever sees it, just hears it, and those who stay a second night, they don't come back. My girlfriend and I went backpacking in northern Idaho. We're both experienced hikers, and we're excited to find a remote spot far from civilization. The first night was calm. Beautiful stars, crackling fire. Nothing out of the ordinary. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to a sound. Whistling, soft, slow, tuneless, like someone aimlessly whistling while they walked. At first I thought it might be a bird, but it was too rhythmic, too human. I sat up. My girlfriend was still sleeping. The whistling got closer, then stopped completely. Dead silence. Then I heard footsteps, circling the tent. Not running, just a slow, steady pace. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. I grabbed the hatchet I kept under my sleeping pad. Then it stopped again. A voice, right next to the tent, whispered, "I know you're awake." We didn't sleep the rest of the night. When the sun rose, we unzipped the tent, expecting signs of animals, boot prints, something. Nothing. No prints, no broken branches, nothing but the soft breeze through the pines. We packed up and hiked 8 miles back to the car without saying a word. I've never been back to Idaho since. They say the forest is quietest right before something moves. It was just me and my cousin Liam out on a weekend camping trip deep in the northern Pennsylvania woods. No reception, no traffic, no light pollution, just a tent, a fire, and the distant ripple of the river. We'd spent the day hiking and fishing, then lit a fire to cook dinner and share a drink under the stars. Around midnight, we killed the fire and turned in. The woods were pitch black, the kind of dark where you can't see your hand in front of your face. At first, I thought I heard branches snapping, probably a deer, maybe a raccoon. I rolled over in my sleeping bag. Then it happened again. Snap, crunch, pause. Liam whispered from across the tent, "You hear that?" I nodded but stayed silent. We listened. Another snap, closer this time. Now we were both wide-eyed. Liam quietly reached for the hatchet he kept by his side. I grabbed the flashlight, but I didn't turn it on. The steps stopped. The woods went dead silent, not even crickets. Then we heard it, slow breathing. It was right outside the tent. We didn't move, didn't speak, just waited. A faint brushing sound against the nylon wall, then another, as if someone was gently running their fingers along the tent's edge, circling it. Liam mouthed, "Animal?" I shook my head. No animal breathes like that. And then we saw it, a shadow against the tent fabric, tall and unmoving, just standing there, watching. We sat frozen in place for what felt like an hour. The figure outside didn't move, it didn't speak, it didn't try to get in, it just watched. At some point I blacked out, not from sleep but from mental exhaustion, like my brain just couldn't process the fear anymore. We woke up to the faint orange glow of sunrise bleeding into the tent. We sprang out, weapons drawn. Nothing, no footprints, no broken branches, no trace, except on the tree across from the tent, carved deep into the bark, were 4 words. "I watched you sleep." We packed up and left immediately. I haven't camped since. I don't care if it was a prank, a drifter, or something worse. Whoever or whatever it was, they were close enough to breathe on the tent, close enough to carve a message in the night, and silent enough to disappear without a sound. It was supposed to be a peaceful getaway. Just me, my girlfriend Amanda, and our dog Scout. We'd found a primitive campground off a dirt road near the Appalachian Trail. No other cars around, no cell signal, just thick pine forest and crisp October air. We spent the first night laughing around the fire, sipping whiskey and sharing ghost stories. Scout curled up near the embers and snored. By midnight, we zipped ourselves into the tent and drifted off to the soft hush of wind through the trees. That peace didn't last. At 2:17 a.m., something hit the tent, hard, a thunk, followed by a dragging sound across the side panel. Scout growled, low and steady. I sat up. "Did you hear that?" Amanda was already awake, staring wide-eyed. Then came another sound. Tock, tock, thud. 3 objects, one after the other, landing on or near the tent. Probably just acorns, I whispered, not even convincing myself. She whispered back, acorns don't slide like that. It stopped for about 5 minutes. Then came the burst, thwack, 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 thump. Something was being hurled at full force. It wasn't falling from trees, it was aimed. Rocks, or maybe pine cones, slamming into our rainfly, bouncing off the ground, rolling across the tarp. Scout started barking like mad, not the curious bark, the protective, terrified kind. I unzipped the tent and shined the flashlight into the woods. Nothing, just dense, silent forest. Then I saw it, a large rock sitting neatly in front of the tent entrance, not thrown, placed. We sat in the tent, frozen, no sleep, no movement. The attacks came in waves, every 15 to 20 minutes, like someone was waiting just out of sight, watching, and then testing us. We debated leaving, but we didn't know what was worse, staying inside or walking into the pitch-black woods. At dawn, we stumbled outside. I scanned the clearing. There were 13 rocks scattered around our tent, each one smooth, round, and dry, even though it had rained that morning. We followed the tracks around the back of the tent, hoping to find prints or maybe an animal trail. Instead, we found a crude circle of stones about 20 feet away, with 2 long, pale feathers laid perfectly across the top. And in the dirt, scratched into the leaves, no fire tonight. We didn't wait to figure it out. We packed everything in under 10 minutes and left the site without breakfast. Amanda never went camping again, and I'll never forget that cold, deliberate message. Whatever it was, it didn't want us there. And next time, maybe it wouldn't stop at rocks. I had gone camping alone in a state park for the weekend, something I'd done a few times before and usually found peaceful. The site I picked wasn't isolated either. There were a few families nearby. I could see a couple of campfires flickering through the trees and hear the faint laughter of kids echoing in the early evening. I pitched my tent near the edge of the designated lot, facing a picnic table and a thicket of woods just beyond. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. I read for a while under my lantern and fell asleep around 11 p.m. Scout, my Labrador, curled up at my feet inside the tent. Everything was calm. Until 3:30 in the morning. I didn't wake up gradually. I was yanked awake by the sound of gravel crunching, deliberate, slow footsteps coming from the direction of the trail behind my sight. It wasn't the rustling of an animal or the scurrying of raccoons. These were heavy, booted steps. Scout lifted his head and gave a low growl, that deep, guttural kind of growl dogs make when something isn't right. My blood turned cold. I held my breath and stayed still, straining to listen. The footsteps approached the side of the tent, the side where my head was, and then they stopped, right next to me. I didn't dare move. The silence was crushing. Then I felt it. That inexplicable awareness when you just know someone is watching you. Very slowly, I turned my head toward the mesh vent just above the ground. And there he was, a man standing inches from my tent, just staring down through the mesh. His face was pale in the moonlight, his eyes open wide. He wasn't trying to see what was inside. He already knew. His body was completely still. He didn't flinch when Scout gave a soft growl. He didn't speak. He didn't knock. He just stood there, watching. I waited for him to say something, or to do something, even just walk away. But he didn't. He just stood there, like he had all the time in the world. After what felt like forever, but was probably a minute, I quietly slid my hand into my sleeping bag and grabbed my flashlight. With a single movement, I flicked it on and aimed the beam directly into the vent. His face lit up like a deer in headlights. No reaction. Not fear, not surprise. Just that blank, wide-eyed stare. He blinked once. Then, without a single word, he turned and walked away, slowly, casually, back the way he came, disappearing into the woods behind my sight. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Scout stayed awake too, ears perked, listening. Every branch creak and every gust of wind made my heart pound. At first light, I packed up everything, fast. I didn't eat, didn't even change clothes. Just shoved the gear into my car and drove straight to the ranger station. When I told them what happened, the ranger frowned. There was no record of a camper on foot, no missing persons, no signs of a break-in. Just my story, and the memory of a stranger standing inches from my head in the dead of night. I don't camp alone anymore. It wasn't what the man did that scared me. It's what he didn't do. He didn't speak. He didn't move fast. He didn't try to break in or hurt me. He just watched, like he'd done it before, like he'd do it again. And remember, fear doesn't go away. It just follows you home.